Grand Rising, let's have a little chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. So, I'm not sure if people have heard. I'm sure some have, and some haven't. But the news broke last night that rapper and actor Coolio um, transitioned, passed away, whatever you want to call it, at the age of 59 due to an alleged heart attack. Okay? And I never really make videos about people when they just pass away, or even rappers for that matter, because I'm not really into rappers like that. But Coolio had something. He had something. There was something about him that was different from the rest. He was a different breed. I remember when he played on Charmed in a few episodes, he played a Lazarus demon. And he was pretty good. I liked him in that role. He was wild, he was crazy, the character. It was a demon that basically would only stay buried when you buried their remains in a cemetery. That's the only way that you could contain that energy. And that was in the early 2000s. And, he was just so full of talent. That's all I can say. He was so full of talent. Everyone knows that song, Gangsta's Paradise. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of motherfucking death. Everyone knows that song. And when the report came through, I was watching someone that I'm subscribed to. When the report came through that he had passed away, I was like, what? And I'm not going conspiracy theory routes. I'm not doing all that. I'm not into that. But it just makes you wonder. It just makes you wonder, like, what the fuck is really going on? Now, let me say this as a disclaimer because I know there are people out there that will say, well, see, people die all the time. Yeah, I know that. I know people die all the time. But having the curious, conscious, occult mind that I do, I can't help but wonder, was his death natural or was it not? Now, the alleged report says he was at a friend's house and he went into the bathroom to use the restroom and he never came out. And 59 is not old in 2022 like everyone is saying. That's fairly young in 2022. That's not that old. You know, he could have still had another good 20 years ahead of him, you know? So he went into a friend's bathroom and he was taking so long. That's why when my friend goes into the bathroom, because my friend he's a lot older than me. He's in his 50s. I'm 43. When my friend goes into the bathroom and he's too quiet, I go in there and check on him to make sure that he's okay. You know, he went into the bathroom and the friend said he was taking so long, he began to call out for him. And eventually he went in there and found him on the floor. And it could have been natural causes. It could have been. It very well could have been, you know? And I'm really trying to refrain from giving my occult thoughts right now. I'm really trying to refrain from that. But let's just say I've seen some things. I've seen some things that I'm not going to really expose right now. I don't really want to do that, but I've seen some things. There's some things that are not gelling. Let's just say that. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. And people can drop, and I will leave the room. People can drop dead. People can drop dead. But of course, if that happens, they have something going on with their heart or their brain. Something is wrong with them, some underlying disease that they don't really know about. I leave the door open for that possibility. But when I'm looking at the quantum equations. Let's just say that. The quantum equations. When I'm looking at the quantum equations, let's just say this, it ties into the Queen's death. Let me say that again. When I'm looking at the quantum equation, it ties into the Queen's death because everything is occultism, especially in that industry. So even if his death was natural, because that industry is ran on the occult, and Coolio was not with the motherfucking shit. He wasn't with that motherfucking bullshit. He wasn't with the gay stuff. And I'm gay saying that. He wasn't with the gay stuff. He wasn't with them trying to violate him. As a matter of fact, I saw a video recently by a well-known YouTuber, and actually, Coolio did an interview back in April where he did not mention any names, but he was saying that some big name people in the industry that he would not name approached him on some trafficking shit and some gay stuff. They wanted him to have sex with them, some big name people in the industry. And I know another, I don't know him, but I was communicating with, for people who watch American Horror Story, I was communicating with, at one time, the guy who played the Minotaur. His name is Amir Baraka. He is an advocate in New Orleans, and he's an actor. He's from New Orleans. He played the Minotaur in season 3. You know that half what do you call it? Is it a half bull, half human? Remember in season 3, he was Angela Bassett's lover, Marie Laveau's lover. He was saying to me personally that he really has not worked again since American Horror Story because gay white men or gay men, I'm assuming they were white, were approaching him for sex, and he turned them down and said, nah, I don't get down like that. And he said he never really worked again after American Horror Story. Interesting, isn't it? Well, Coolio was saying the same thing in an interview that he did back on April the 23rd, 2022. He was saying that they approached him on some gay stuff, some weird stuff, which is to a heterosexual person, that is weird to them because that's not their energy. That's not their energy, and they don't like that. And he was saying that they approached him on some gay stuff, and he said basically, fuck no. And they also approached him on some trafficking shit, because we all know there's a lot of trafficking in that industry. That industry has really transcended the entertainment world. And even if trafficking was going on back in the day, we didn't know about it. But now we know about it. I mean, look at that god-awful show, P-Valley, and all that old other bullshit. Look at this shit. P-Valley. And I mean, you can just see how prostitution and forced homosexuality has really shaped the industry. Now, it's interesting that allegedly this season of American Horror Story, season 11, which is also tied into the quantum equations of Coolio's death and the Queen's. And I'm not going to get into how I figured that out. I'm just not going to do that because I don't want to, because like I said, even if his death was natural, there's still a quantum equation that they can benefit from. Okay? But there's a quantum equation that ties into this season of American Horror Story, the Queen's death and Coolio's death. And let me say this. Let me go to this for a minute. I was wondering why they were doing a movie about Jeffrey Dahmer, because it ties into all of this shit. It ties into all of this. Why would they want to make a movie about that monster? Hasn't that monster had enough motherfucking attention? Why do we need a movie about a hideous piece of shit like Jeffrey Dahmer, who was murdering people? Specifically, he had a thing for eating black gay men, who were stupid enough to fucking meet him Anyway, why are they trying to pull his energy? There have been enough movies about this hideous caricature or demonic entity, which is what most people would look at him as. He did some very evil, demonic type of shit. That is demonic. So a lot of people are making reviews about looking at that show. I don't want to look at anything that has to do with Jeffrey Dahmer. And I couldn't understand until now why they were trying to pull his energy. I'll tell you why. Because the same man who created and facilitated American Horror Story, Ryan Murphy, he is the one who created this story or this movie, Dahmer, that's on Netflix, that's so popular right now that everyone is talking about. And the same guy that's been an American Horror Story for many seasons, Evan Peters, who played Tate Harmon and all those other characters in American Horror Story, he chose him to play Jeffrey Dahmer. That's because Evan Peters is a portal for those types of energies. He's a portal because he has played some of the most heinous people. He played Tate Langdon in season 1, who shot up his entire school in a Columbine type of energy. He played Jim Jones briefly. He played that cult leader in the Cult season of American Horror Story. So he's a portal for that type of energy. So American Horror Story season 11. Season 11, and 11 is a very symbolic number in this. I'm not getting into how I know, but let's just say 11 is a very symbolic number in this equation, in this quantum equation. In season 11, allegedly, it's going to be called American Horror Story New York. They need to do American Horror Story Washington, D.C. too. Oh, they need to do that. That'll give you a real horror story. Trust me, child, I live here. But it's going to be about serial killers and homosexuality, the gay community, and HIV and AIDS. So now it makes sense. Now it makes sense why they needed certain portals open, why they had to pull certain energies, and why certain energies they're going to use to do whatever it is they need to do. Let's just say that. Okay? So now it makes perfect sense why they're pulling Jeffrey Dahmer's energy, because they're doing an entire season on American Horror Story about serial killers. And this is kind of a turnoff because, you know, when I look at American Horror Story, I wanted to look at it for the supernatural. And I really don't see anything supernatural about serial killers. I don't know how they're going to add the supernatural into this. But going back to Coolio, he said that he was approached for gay stuff and trafficking. And he said no. He said no. And this was an interview that he did back in April. And he also said that when he said no and he refused, he noticed that things started happening simultaneously, not only to him, but his son. And he said that he was afraid. He said he didn't care what they did to him. He was afraid for his children and his family if he spoke out against them. He said he was afraid of that. He admitted that. And I'm going to be honest with you. That takes a fucking man to say, hey, listen, I'm afraid, you know, because I don't want anything to happen to my family. You know, he didn't care what happened to him. He didn't want anything to happen to his family. Anyway, I just wanted to come through and I wanted to say that, and I wanted to just pay respect to that genius in that rap world, in that hip hop world, because Gangsta's Paradise, that came out in the early 90s. I went on YouTube and looked it up. It has 1 billion views. It has 1 billion views. That is why people like Coolio and black men like Coolio should be motherfucking billionaires. But they don't have the right people around them. There's no way that Coolio should have only been worth $1.5 million if that's true. There's no way. He was a talent, but because he resisted what they wanted him to do, they have a way of making sure that you don't rise to the top unless you giving some white gay guy some dick. As long as you putting your dick in gay white men, you're going to be reaching to the top. You're going to go to the top. That's why Terry Crews went to the top. All that bullshit about that white guy that walked up to Terry Crews and grabbed his dick and Terry Crews didn't do anything. Terry Crews knew exactly what was going on. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And the man did it in front of his wife. And then black men, you wonder why you don't get any respect in that industry. Because in that industry, you're the sex toys. You're not the pimp. You're being pimped. And one thing I will give Coolio, he didn't allow himself to be pimped. I don't know how he felt about gay people. Pride, I don't know. Maybe he didn't like gay people. Maybe he didn't. I don't give a fuck about that. But I can respect an OG's motherfucking resistance to doing something that's not part of his energy. I can respect that. And I really don't like a lot of rappers. I really don't care for a lot of rappers like that. But I respect that he resisted that he said, no, you cannot do this to me, and I will not participate in that. That is not part of my motherfucking energy. I don't care how he felt about gay people. Because I don't always throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm looking at how he presented himself. He may have had his own personal demons and issues with whatever. Because I think I read some things about him or whatever the case may be that I'm not going to really say. If you want to go look it up yourself, he had his own demons like all of us do. But I gotta respect him for that. I have to respect him for that. He told them motherfuckers no. And Amir Baraka, he's still with us. I gotta respect him for that. Whether I agree with everything he says or does or not, I give respect where it's due. And it's just so interesting that he was getting ready to do a lot of great things with, and I didn't even know this, but he was getting ready to do a lot of great things. I'm going to call out his name. He was getting ready to do a lot of great things with Dane Calloway. Dane Calloway, he be dropping that motherfucking shit. He drops it. He was getting ready to do a lot of great things with Dane Calloway. I just saw Dane Calloway's video, and Dane Calloway was who I was talking about earlier when I said I didn't mention his name, about where I got some of this information from a well-known vlogger. Coolio and Dane Calloway were collaborating to expose and to bring out a lot of information. And I find it very interesting that now he's dead. I find that very interesting. I just do. I'm not no conspiracy theory, but I just find it interesting, and I have questions. I have questions. It just seems like whenever you resist the agenda or whenever you resist certain things in that world, things end up happening to you. It just seems that way. And again, this ain't coming from a fan of Coolio's. I'm more of an admirer of his work. I mean, everybody knows Gangsta's Paradise. And whether I'm a part of that world or not, that gangster world, I'm not, but I can admire a person's talent without being a fan of theirs, because I'm not no motherfucking hater. But I just had to pay homage to that black brother and his talent, not his demons or whatever he had going on in his personal life, but his talent. So, you have to say that because, dumb motherfuckers, they'll come through and say, well, he did this and he did that. And he ain't no R. Kelly. He ain't no R. Kelly, so I don't want to hear that motherfucking shit. Okay? He ain't no R. Kelly. So I want to be clear about that. He was about it. They came to him about trafficking and shit like that. They came to him about that. They wanted him to be another R. Kelly, I'm assuming. But he told them no. And I got to respect that. I respect that. Now, I'm not with that rap world and all that gangster shit. I ain't with that. But I respect that. I respect that. But anyway, I just wanted to pay homage to Coolio. Thank you for coming to the world and sharing your talent, your beauty. And when I say beauty, I mean your soul, because sometimes people look at people's, aesthetics, and they think, oh, no, he may have looked a little, rough. He was rough, but I think he had a beautiful soul. I think he had a beautiful soul, and I think his intentions were not bad. Anytime a man says, I want to protect my family, that does something to me. The same thing with young Pharaoh. I don't care for young Pharaoh like that. I don't care for him like that. We're both Virgos. I don't care for him like that, you know? And it's not because he's young Pharaoh and I just don't like him. I don't care for some of his ideologies and views on certain things. But I don't dislike him as a person because I don't know him. But something that I saw in young Pharaoh, and I don't give a fuck who takes offense or gets offended by it, something that I saw when he was talking about Golden, I believe that's the young woman's name, and how she and her mom were trying to keep his children away from away from him, allegedly, excuse me. I said him, allegedly, excuse me. You saw it in his face that he was broken about that he really loves his children. And I don't care, and I know he don't really care for gay people either, but that's okay. But when I saw that, as another male, I have to have respect for that man for that. I don't give a fuck about the other stuff. But he looked into that camera and said, you're trying to keep my kids away from me. And I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not getting into all of that. That's not the fucking point. The point that I'm making is this. I saw the love he had for his children in his eyes. And I don't care if it's a heterosexual, I don't care if it's heterosexual or what. A man that has love for his children, I have respect for that man. I have respect for, he could be the lowest of the fucking low, but if he's protecting his children and he has love for his children and I can see that, and he's fighting for his children, I have respect, a certain amount of respect for that type of man. And I saw that even in young Pharaoh. So when Coolio said, I want to protect my family, I was like, I got respect for this brother right there. I got respect for him. Because I didn't grow up with a father that protected me. I had to protect myself. And a lot of us, men and women, we didn't grow up with fathers who protected us. My father was on drugs. He was on fucking drugs. I didn't know him, and I didn't want to know him. He was a Taurus. He's dead now. So I didn't have that. So when I see another man doing that for his children, I have respect for that man. And I'm getting a little bit teared up about that because I'm emotional and I'm human and I'm tapped into spirit the way you're supposed to be. Remember what I said the other day? Men that don't protect their children, I don't have no respect for them. I don't care if they're in my family, but a man that protects his child, a man that puts his children first, I have respect for that. And that is the main reason I'm making this video, because Coolio, he wanted to protect his children. He wanted to protect them. And I have to have respect for that. You know? It's really a tragedy. You know, it is. It's a tragedy. And it's unfortunate that he passed away at such a young age, you know? And I'm hoping, and I'm sending him blessings, because you can do that for the dead. I'm sending him blessings even into the afterlife, because he deserves that. And any other ancestor that has transcended unexpectedly, suddenly, that was not really ready to go, because I don't think he was ready to go. I don't think he was ready to go. I don't think he expected that, or maybe he did. I don't know. But may his afterlife be peaceful. May his afterlife be filled with joy and power, where he can help us on this side. So I'm not going to shed no tears. I'm not going to say rest in peace. I'm going to say rest in quantum power. That is what I'm going to say to him. and any other fallen ancestor, male or female. Let's take time right now to do that, because we get so wrapped up as Black people, we don't oftentimes give enough thanks to our ancestors. Let's wish quantum power to Nell Carter. Let's wish quantum power to Tupac. Let's wish quantum power to, what's her name that just passed away not that long ago? That played on 90210. She was a powerful, powerful actress. Let's do this right now. Let's take the time to do this. Let me find her name. Wait a minute. She was a Black actress that played on 902. Her name is Denise Dowse. Let's wish Denise Dowse power in the quantum. Not rest in peace, rest in power in the quantum to our ancestors that are fallen. You know? I'm trying to think of any others that have passed away suddenly recently. But that's enough. That'll spread. That's what we should do, you know. So thank you, Coolio, for sharing your talent and your gifts with the world. We will miss your physical presence, but we know that your quantum presence is still there, because I can feel that quantum presence even now. I can feel it. It'll always be a motherfucking gangster's paradise. And I'm not talking about no killing and, no violence and all of that. Real motherfucking gangsters were about defending those who could not defend themselves. They weren't bullies like these bitch ass niggas are today. See, these bitch ass niggas, I'm talking about these bitch ass Black men today, they think being a gangster is going around bullying people who have less power than them. That's not a gangster. That's a bitch ass motherfucking nigga, and you will be dealt with. And that's coming straight from the motherfucking quantum. You will be dealt with. And that also includes you fake ass motherfucking nigga occultists who go around misusing people's motherfucking energy. You will be dealt with. Not in a Christian context, but you will be dealt with. You will be dealt with. That's a true gangster's motherfucking paradise. You will be dealt with. Real gangsters didn't do this shit that you fucking niggas are doing right now. They didn't do this shit. They didn't go around bullying women or anything like that. Now, if a woman was in that motherfucking life, like this lady named Wicked Wanda, who was going around setting up hustlers, and then they finally got her and shot her down by Cleveland Elementary School, they shot her in the face, that's because she was out here doing foul shit. But just to go around bullying and harassing women and doing all, gangsters don't do shit like that. That's bitch made nigga shit. That's bitch made shit. And that's why I don't have respect for a lot of these motherfucking niggas today. But niggas like Coolio, I got some respect for that energy. Niggas like Coolio, I got respect for that energy. And some of the other Black OGs that I can't really think of right now, still kind of early, that I can't really think of, I have respect for them. Because they were on a totally different motherfucking energy. They were on a totally different wavelength. So I have some respect for them. Yeah, and I know I said I was leaving, but, But anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you, Coolio, for sharing your talent and your gift to the world, and may you be in power and continue to rise in power within the quantum world, the almighty quantum world. And may you live in your almighty quantum form and reign for eternity. That's my wish for our ancestors, and that goes for the ancestors in my family as well. Gwen, Florence, Olga, and Grace, and Sheila, and Emma. May they all reign, all powerful in their quantum existence. Eric, Marinetta, Tilly, Durrell, Christopher Berry, Marion Berry. We're going to name them names. Name them. Give power to your ancestors. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Um, Reign supreme in your quantum existence, Coolio. Thank you for your talent.